between the Board of Ed and the Township. So that's ongoing work and more to come on that. Quick paper mill update. The show Gun and Powder that was at Paper Mill was renamed Wanted and will be going to Broadway next season. Paper Mill Playhouse welcomes Paul Brewster McGinley as the new Director of Education. And they have a ton of upcoming education activities, most of which are taking place in Millburn. And so this underscores, their commitment to empowering the young artists through dynamic, high-quality training. I'm not going to go through every single one, but some of the highlights are the Rising Star Awards, which takes place on June 3rd. The Little Mermaid student matinee for our Millburn Middle School students is on Tuesday, June 11th at 11 a.m. And there's a bunch other listed throughout August. Just encourage everybody to go on the Paper Mills website and you'll be able to view that calendar of events. Just a few updates from me. Very quickly, the Township has received the police staffing study, which I've distributed to the Township Committee. We've also determined a date for a public presentation of that report, which will be June 12th right here in this building, sort of the only date available in June. As you can imagine, June is a very busy month between the school and the Township and various activities going on. So June 12th, we will have a representative from Matrix Consulting Group who did the study here, as well as the police chief and myself to discuss that report. June 22nd at 4 p.m. there will be a dedication ceremony for the kiosk, the historical kiosk for the Forgotten Victory Trail. Just want to invite everybody to that, which will sort of signify the significance of Millburn in the Revolutionary War. And on June 23rd, just a public service announcement that is President's Cup, and the downtown will be locked down while they do that race on Monday, June 23rd. So that's all. Thank you.
Alex, do you have an update on the playground? I know we were hitting a milestone in terms of the design, the playground that we got the Green Acres grant for.
Yeah, I mean, right now it is currently being designed. The engineer had been chosen a few months back by the Township Committee and the Rec Department. They are in the design process of that playground. I think Ben Schaefer is the playground supply company that will be supplying the playground. They anticipate breaking ground and getting that installed in the fall. So we're looking forward to that. Again, that was a $750,000 grant with I think it was a $250,000 match that the Township received. So.
Alex, real quick, the June 12th police staffing study presentation, what time is that going to be and location?
Well, location is here, 7 p.m. To 8:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment. When invited to speak to offer your comments, please come to the lectern and clearly state your name and whether you are a Millburn resident and/or property or business owner. Please do not provide your full address, seeing our meetings are recorded and readily available to the public. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, speakers shall limit their comment to 1 3-minute session. You will be prompted when there is 30 seconds remaining. A reminder, this is not a time for dialogue or to debate a matter, and this is a time during our business meeting for the public to offer comments. I will now open the public comment period.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Feld. I live in the Poets section. I incorporate, and I hope the minutes will reflect, my heads-up comments and question emails and the chronologies that I provided to the board. I'm happy to hear that Guns and is going to Broadway under a different name because it was an excellent and historical show. As to the agenda items, that's what I'm going to talk about this time. On the bill list, there's another payment for 22 East Willow Court, the project, and my question is the source of funding. To the best of my knowledge, bonds have not been issued yet, and when you look at the bill list, it shows a capital account, but the question is, how was that capital account funded? From what monies were placed in there that we paid to acquire the property and to make various renovation improvements? I understand that we will, as the next one is the change order resolution for the town hall renovation. I understand we can't change the architect in the middle of the process. However, I think we should be looking at how he was retained in December 2024 without any RFPs. I think we should be talking about the local public contract law, and there is a professional service exemption, but I think we should be understanding of a policy going forward that there's like a cap that if you'll say the service is going to be greater than 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, because the original retention for was like in excess of $800,000, that we require, RFPs and a choice. When we had Perkins Eastman in September 2020, that went through the RFP process, and there were 2 council members at that time who looked at all the RFPs and helped make the recommendation. When we talk about the professional service exemption, the question I think the public should know is, in December of 2024, who made the decision that that professional service exemption applied? Was it the BA, our qualifying purchasing agent, or some other person? I will come back later and talk about other non-agenda issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Everyone, Richie Seibert, local resident. I just wanted to add on Michael talking about scams. I saw this scam the other day where it's very important to turn off your Wi-Fi when you leave your house now, because there are scam artists at Starbucks who it says, would you like to join the Starbucks Wi-Fi network? But it's really not them, and it's somebody else that clones your phone and gets all your information. So it's just too much already. So you got to be careful even going to restaurants now and using their Wi-Fi. You can't be sure it's the real one. So there you go.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I love your colors, Annette. Michael. Okay, I'm just coming to talk about one core issue, and there's probably one other small thing. I'm probably not going to be here next week, so that's why I came out tonight. And I had to consider this a lot because I was going to sort of not, I'm sorry, Christine Best, Milner Township, not talk about this, but I have something very personal to me, and this is why I don't agree with a specific ordinance. And I was thinking about it because I could back off for other reasons, but I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, and I'm not trying to have a pity party at all, when I was 30 years old, and it dramatically affected my life. And I am a survivor type of person, so I worked for 25 years and had a high-powered job. I could have made a lot more out of myself had I not had it. And I hate ticks, okay? I hate when my dog gets ticks. I just hate ticks. And I'm also somewhat of a naturalist, so I don't like to put a lot of poison on my property. So I'm telling you this because try to imagine somebody who has a devastating neurological illness like MS or autism or neurological Lyme, and try to understand like where that person's coming from. So one of the reasons why I'm talking about this was because I do think there's a public health issue with your ordinance 2707-25 that's coming up that you're going to vote on, in addition to other scientific issues on it. And the big issue is the ability as a homeowner to protect myself from a public health perspective from being bitten by a tick that carries over 100 different diseases. And I prefer not to put pesticides on my property. I use cedarwood oil, and I like to have my property blown off. It's very clean. My beds are very neat. And I feel strongly about it, and I really hope that you'll allow people to have the choice to do that and maybe think about it from that perspective. And I actually didn't even think about it from that perspective. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was, tonight I think this was up on the docket, And, you know, I was able to somehow manage to find the Google Drive, like, I think because somebody had posted it and then took it down. But I think it's really important that when ordinances are written, that they don't have, you know, if you're going to refer to scientific studies and make declarations about science in an ordinance, that you have to look at all the white paper studies that are relevant. And I think that the way this ordinance is written, I'm not going to go through the details, but you make strong declarations about specific white paper studies and no references to many other ones that were provided by Mr. Jonathan Baxter. That's a little bit concerning to me. And I just hope that you'll consider and go through the entire process. Additionally, I was unable to make the gas blower blow off, which I think was great that you guys did it, and I commend, you know, the EC for doing it. But I know I'm going to come back.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
well,
much.
we took that off of the meeting.
I know, but I'm not
tonight.
going to most likely be here.
Okay,
So
just
I'm
one.
sorry. That's why I came tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I will now close public comment. The Township Committee will now consider consent agenda resolutions. Are there any comments from the committee in regard to any items listed on the consent agenda?
Don't we normally respond to public comment?
Oh.
Before we do that?
I'm sorry.
Not that there was much tonight. Yes, so, Ms. Best, the leaf blower ordinance does not prevent people from protecting their property against ticks. You know, people are able to use pesticides, and also you can continue to have your property blown off. It's just that 3 months in the summer, you know, your landscaper or you, if you do your own landscaping, will have to use an electric blower. It's not in any way, shape, or form infringing on your ability to protect against ticks. That's all I had to say.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the committee in regard to any items listed on the consent agenda? May I have a motion to approve Resolution 25-150 through Resolution 25-153 as updated, which are listed on the consent agenda?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second,
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Sacramandi,
yes.
Mayor Romano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Are there any comments from the committee in regard to Resolution 25-154? May I have a motion to approve Resolution 25-154?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second,
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Sacramandi,
yes.
Mayor Romano.
Yes. Are there any comments from the committee in regard to Resolution 25-155? May I have a motion to approve Resolution 25-155?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second,
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Sacramandi,
yes.
Mayor Romano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing we have no old business, no new business, public comment. This public comment period is to allow for final comments from the community. When invited to speak to offer your comments, please come to the lectern and clearly state your name and whether you are a Milburn resident and/or property or business owner. Please do not provide your full address, seeing our meetings are recorded and readily available to the public. A reminder that in order to help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, speakers shall limit their comments to 1 3-minute session.
Again, Jeffrey Feld in the poet section. Just a public shout out that in-person early voting is open today, and I voted, and I encourage everyone to vote either in person early or next Tuesday. And if you're an independent affiliate, you still have the right to vote. You just have to declare your party what primary you want to vote in. What I had to talk about is about political free speech and the First Amendment. Last night at the Board of Education meeting, the acting chair tried to shut down me and a student from speaking in our content suppression. The reason I mention this is about the Bear Properties 2 litigation. There's various motions, and one of the motions is, to vacate the ministerial defaults, but also asking for leave to file a defamation counterclaim and a third-party complaint against me personally. When you read the complaint and the questions of what is defamatory, they were contained in a complaint. I don't know how the litigation privilege does not apply and protects me. I don't know whether the township considered the anti-SLAPP suit statute that came into effect in the last 2 years, and a copy of the opinion that came out a week ago Friday talking about the anti-SLAPP suit and the protection of political free speech. And when I talk about political free speech, it's not in the context of Bear Properties 2. It goes back to my first appearance before this board in September 2020, when there was a walk-on resolution at around 10:20 at night. And when I stood up, I said, "How do you do that?" I was threatened to be removed. In that 2-week period, it wasn't just me. There was an interchange, for the people that don't have the historical background, between our former municipal attorney and another attorney about setbacks about restaurants. And when you look at those emails, they were outrageous. In January 2021, you took away our right to speak before you took official action. I had to sue to restore that. But in general, I know my time is running out. In the next couple of weeks, I hope you reflect about what you filed and its impact. We are the most educated, one of the richest communities in this town. And I've always said that this case, we will be known for the test case about how we try to suppress political free speech in this community starting in September 2020.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to speak?
Good evening, Phil Kirsch, Millburn resident. I know a lot of work, a lot of time has gone into the ordinance about the seasonal restriction on the use of gas-powered leaf blowers, and I'm curious whether or not this will be brought up at the next meeting. I know it's been taken off a couple of times, and I'm anxious to see it brought up for introduction. So I'd like
Yes,
to know.
I think because we were missing 2 members.
Okay, good to hear that. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else wish to speak? Going once, going twice?
I know, I'm going to get you out. Cocktails, you got to have cocktails in that shirt tonight. Okay, right. So, coming back, Christine Vest, Millburn Township. Okay, so Frank, thank you so much for your comment. I know that I'm sorry I don't agree, and I'm truly sorry. This one I'm really not trying to be a pain on. So I just want to explain, electric blowers do not have the power to blow ticks off at that velocity level. So that's a huge thing. And also electric blowers, if you use electric blowers, that prevents you from having to use pesticides because pesticides like glyphosate cause cancer, okay? So being a supporter of environmental, things, all things environmental, I think it's a lot safer to not use glyphosate, in my personal opinion, but that's a second issue. So I do think it's really important that people have the right to do that. I also want to point out, I really would like to see the landscapers being notified. I mean, you can call them. There's only like probably 15 or 20 in town, so that they can be present at this meeting. And I feel like there's a lot of things that just are done really quickly, and I wish there was a little bit more time involved in having them come so they can speak their mind. And I did speak to a township landscaper whose name I'm not going to say because I don't think it's appropriate. And he told me that the prices did go up significantly in Maplewood and Montclair, where he does business, and he has done business with the town as well. So I just want to make sure that people understand that, with the elections coming up, if Mikey Sherrill gets in, who I think she's a wonderful woman, we're going to be looking at possibly paying for subsidizing electric bills for people that are less fortunate in being able to do that. So our taxes will probably go up because of that. We're looking at a 2 to 3% mansion tax, so it's an incremental add for some people, 2 points, some 1. And just everything with the rising costs. I don't really want to spend another 30 to 40% on my already $10,000 landscaping bill annualized. I have a lot of medical expenses, so I really hope that people put that into consideration. And also, the other thing I wanted to talk about, at the blow-off, unfortunately, they had different blowers there, and you could hear the noise volume, which I think it was kind of proven that there's not a big differential if you use a low-noise gas blower. But no one used the blower in a functional way to test, to show the Township Committee, what does it mean when you have to blow a pile of stone dust that's wet? What does it mean when you have to blow a pile of wet grass that won't move without high velocity? And I think not doing that homework and then passing this is not right. That's just my personal opinion. Do I have 2 seconds? Am I done? Okay, thank you. And so going back to the document, I just think there was also a lot of claims, and I support having less hours for the
Thank you.
noise
Thank you.
tighter down. Thank you.
Hi, Bill Brazel, Millburn resident, and I just want to respond to a couple of things that have been said about the leaf blower ordinance. So one thing that Ms. Best mentioned was the idea that electric blowers, battery blowers, are not as powerful as gas blowers. But then at the same time, she said that we should look at the low noise gas blower during the blow off and through multiple tests. It's actually quite clear that the low noise gas blower is far weaker than any battery or electric blower on the market. So in fact, the battery blower or electric blower are much stronger than the low noise gas blower. Secondly, the issue of cost has been bandied about quite often in these meetings. And I just want to point out to members of the public that this is simply not true. And I can give you, Ms. Best, and anybody else who would like, a landscaper in Montclair. It's a landscaper called Delis Landscaping. I spoke to him at some length. He said he'd be happy to talk to others. When Montclair made the transition from gas to electric, he said, the worst that could happen during a seasonal ban, a seasonal restriction such as the one we're discussing, the worst thing that could happen, because there are no leaves, right? There's no leaves to blow, so we don't really have to worry about ticks during, excuse me, I'm speaking, Ms. Best? I allowed you to. Thank you. There are no leaves, there are grass clippings, quite correct, and the worst that can happen is it rains and the grass clippings are a little bit heavier than normal. This landscaper told me that when that happens, it sometimes takes 10 to 15 minutes longer per property. He said he eats that cost. He doesn't love it. He would prefer not to have that cost, but he has not raised his prices at all. And he said, nor have his competitors in Montclair. And I've spoken to numerous landscapers elsewhere, and I'll pass on those numbers to the Township Committee. And finally, I think it's really important, if we talk about public health, we have to talk about the public health threat caused by gas leaf blowers. And that has been minimized by some people in front of the Township Committee in ways that have been misleading. I asked a PhD in toxicology, a man named Dr. Mark Fukuyama, to take a look at the white papers that Ms. Best referenced. And he found that the white papers consistently underestimated the air pollution and particulate matter emitted by gas-powered leaf blowers, and drastically underestimated the increase in cancer risks caused by gas-powered leaf blowers to the landscape laborers themselves and also to Millburn residents. The air pollution damage caused by gas-powered leaf blowers is quite real. And I think we should always keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If everyone could just remember when you're speaking, just to address the committee and no, just saying. Anyone else wish to speak? Okay, I will now close public comment. Do you have anything to add? Committeeman Second Mandy, do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Mr. Cantor?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. McDonald? Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
It was the